And here we are, guys. We're back for another one of my time-lapse model build series. This is episode 12 in the series, and this build here will be of the Hasegawa 1/48 scale Stuka B, JU87B Stuka. Really only the second Stuka kit I've ever built. I built one when I was much younger, the Hobbycraft kit, which was a literal piece of plastic junk. Didn't turn out quite as good as I hoped it would, obviously, as I was about 12 when I built it. So this was a real sort of reckoning to get a nice, well-built Stuka model done. Played around with it a bit, modified it a bit, put it in more of a dynamic pose, which you'll see at the end when it's all completed. So it turned out really good. No real complaints. As I said, it's the Hasegawa 1/48 scale JU87B Stuka, and I did use the kit decals, and I built it as this model here, which is an Eastern front bird. So it would have had a whitewash, so you can see how I managed to pull the whitewash off. I've done it once before. This is the second time I've done a whitewash finish on a Luftwaffe bird. I'm very happy with how it turned out. So as always, stick around to the end, take a look at how this thing turned out. Hopefully you guys will be surprised with it. And let's get down to it. So here we go, 1/48 scale Hasegawa JU87B Stuka time-lapse build. And as always, my name is Sean. This, Sean's Aviation. And just before we get into the video, something I should have been doing a lot more up till now, and that is just asking you guys out there, if you enjoy what you're looking at, if you like what I'm doing, go down below, click on the like page, subscribe to my channel, and by all means, please click on that little notification bell. If that way you guys get alerted when I do get more new content up. I usually try to do the what's on my desk monthly update beginning of the month. And I usually try to get a video or a series of videos released by the 15th, the middle of the month. So whether that's going to be a tips and tricks video, or an aviation history video, or my time-lapse videos of the previous model builds that I've got done, or an air show video, or some of my new product review videos I'll be doing. So I'm going to try to get something posted by the middle of the month. So please, if you're enjoying this, subscribe, like, and click that notification bell. Let's move on to the video. So as usual with these aircraft kits, I got started on the Cockpit. As I said, being Hasegawa, Cockpit detail was very good. Bit fiddly in some spots, but altogether it went together quite well, and very happy with how it's turned out. So here we go, bit of a mid-build update on this. I haven't really done one up till now. So I have been getting some progress done on it. I haven't been doing as much work on the Stuka as I have on the other 3 kits, so you're not going to see as much progress at this point than if you had watched the other builds, the other build logs up till now. The main thing is I have the cockpit completed and the fuselage is glued together. I still need to do a lot of seam cleanup. I haven't done any sanding on this yet. It's one of the easier kits to actually clean up as there's not much else like in the way, so the seam is going to be relatively easy to clean up. The instrument panel actually is a little weird. I've never seen this kind of build before where the instrument panel glues to this little tiny piece which then gets fitted in to place, and then this gets glued in. So the big thing with that is I'm going to have to get the cowling built, and I'm going to make sure that it lines up on the cowling because that seam up here will be very hard to clean. So I'm going to build the cowling, mount the cowling temporarily, tape it in place, and then I have enough movement in here. Once I get that cowling taped into place, I'll go through and I'll glue this piece down as close to accurate as I can. Now the downside is, I'll zoom in here a little bit again so you guys can see this. It's wider than the fuselage, so if I line it up, it sticks out on both sides. This little corner here and this little corner here, you can see on that side how much shadow there is. Like, it sticks out significantly, so I have to kind of split the difference between either side and then sand those edges down to clean that up as much as I can. I'm not looking forward to that, but I think that's the way I'm going to have to go about doing it. But other than that, you know, it looks great. I love the weathering. It all turned out really well. With the big greenhouse canopy, there's going to be a lot of that detail that you're going to see. So I'm looking forward to getting that done. The wings are massive. There's a lot going on with this. It's a huge plane. So, you know, it is going to take a bit of space. I am going to try to mount it on a stand with the bomb being deployed. So I'll have to somewhere find a way to mount the stand. I don't know how I'm going to do that because the cockpit takes up so much of the space. I'm going to have to find a sweet spot in here somewhere to drill up and actually mount the wire. My other possibility is going all the way to the back, which I mean I could do, is have it forward with a base and then have the wire come all the way back to here, which I guess I could do, but I'll have to see. You know, it's going to take a bit of effort. That'll be a lot later on in the build. Once I get it done, I'll figure out where I'm going to put it and how I'm going to do it. But there you go. That's really all I've gotten done. I've been focusing on the other ones. I knew this one would be relatively easy. This is more of a shake and bake kit for me. Not too much effort, not too much problems. The other 3 were having some more intricate problems. So I've been spending a lot of my effort on that. So keep watching. You'll see this thing come together, and we'll get some paint on this soon. So this model actually has a slightly different format for the forward fuselage. The whole forward cowling area, where originally in the Stuka it would have been a removable like power egg section, so you could replace the engine very quickly. That whole forward section is a separate piece, and it has to be put together by multiple separate pieces. And I'm assuming that's just so that they could do later versions of the Stuka with later engine types, and they wouldn't have to retool the entire fuselage. They only have to retool for this forward power section. It is a little fiddly to get together. It took a bit of effort to get everything lined up, and it did take a bit of sanding and putty, as you'll see later, to make it look good. But it did get together, and I did get it glued on. And as you'll see also later, I didn't do any sealing and puttying around it. I left that panel line where the forward section meets the fuselage as is, and that's just because in a real aircraft there would have been actual pretty large panel gaps along that area. here I'm actually cutting a little square of plastic to fit into the hole where the bomb was to be mounted, as I did mount the bomb in an extended position. The hole had to be filled, so as you can see I just used some plastic sheet and filled it in. I'm starting the process of masking the canopies, and as with most of my other models, I'm simply just using the Tamiya tape, placing it on the cockpit over the glass, the clear area, and then using a backlit to cut around the frames, leaving a nice clean cut, and I'm not having to spend all that money on pre-cut masks. If you do it right, it turns out really well. And as you can see, masking is taking quite a while. These videos are actually sped up 10 times, and you can still see it took quite a while to get that massive greenhouse canopy masked off properly. But in the end, it looks amazing, and as you'll see at the end, turns out great. So here I'm actually painting the window well on the bottom of the fuselage. There's a little window so the pilot can look out and see the target kind of through this cockpit floor. So that area, it's extremely hard to mask as it's the clear piece is a little triangle angle. It's very difficult to get in there. So I'm painting it by hand now, and then I'll fill it with a little bit of Kleenex to jam up the hole. And then when I airbrush the bottom, it'll blend everything in. And at the end, you'll never know that I hand painted up inside there. So here I am working on the base. It took a bit to get the angle set up to make sure the plane was in a dive and it would clear the base and clear the bomb and all that other kind of stuff. But once I got it figured out, I was able to get this wire banded up and get everything set up the way I liked. And this is the process I went through for making the name tag. It was actually my first effort at making the name tag. I had planned to do this for the other time-lapse build I did, the CF-18 commission build. I knew I needed one for that. I didn't want to ruin that one first, so I did the Stuka, this one here first. So this is just me laying out the letters and figuring out. I kind of made some templates to help me do some of the punching, but I ended up kind of having to wing it, and this was me just sort of figuring it out on the fly how I could get this done. And here I start the painting process, and as this aircraft has a two-tone green camo with extremely sharp demarcation lines, I mean, I could do it with masking tape, but getting those angles proper, as you can see with the template, very hard to get those angles. So using the paper template, I made a couple of photocopies at work, and I just cut those paper templates out, taped them to the fuselage, and that is how I was able to, as you'll see, step by step, work my way through and get all of the little angles and paint areas correct. here we are, folks. Quick mid-build update on the Stuka. For those of you who have been following up till now, you will see it has been painted. So I'll take it off the stand here so you can see it. So it's been painted. The two-tone green on top, camo on the bottom, or the lower camouflage light bluey color. There is a little bit of touch-up I have to do on the tail here. I'm probably just going to touch it up by hand once I have everything done. The tape pulled up just a little bit, so there is the hintest of touch-up I got to do back here on the tail. So I'll take care of that later. Otherwise, landing gears are all been painted up as well, so they mount like that. So yeah, landing gears have all been painted up. So the next step to this are also yellow bands. The yellow on the tail and the wingtips would be for the east and front have been done. So the next step for this, I am going to decal it. I'm going to do a little bit of weathering to it. I'm not going to do too much because it will, well, the top anyways, because it will have the white top coat. Everywhere where there's the green will be a white top coat to make it look like it has the whitewash applied for the Arctic camo applied. So I'm going to add the decals, paint around the decals, just the way I did a thick black wash, but it's a white paint, and then I'm going to give it a bit of streaking. Just to wear it down along the leading edges and whatnot, make it look like it's been used for a few months and the whitewash is blowing off, and then clean up around the decals so that the decals are clean and shine through. And then I'll do another little bit of weathering on top of the whitewash, and then I will seal it with a flat coat, and it will be done. After that, I have some little things I have to do. The balances have all fallen off. The aileron mass balances all fell off, so I got to do that. The bomb racks, the propellers, paint the exhaust staining. Little things like that, the tail wheel, the antennas, all of that I'll do after it's all whitewashed and flat coated. So it is coming along, it's looking good. As I said, I got the base, I have the name tag done up for the base, which will live right here on the, it's upside down. So it'll live right here on the base. So it's all done, I just have to do the last sealing coats on this, so I took it off. And then it will live like that on the base. As I said, with the bomb in the deployed position. So it's coming right along. It's still got a lot. Of all the models, I think this one's probably has the most work to do, just because there are a lot of little fiddly bits I have to add after the fact and clean it up, and the extra coats of whitewash and whatnot. And then the exhausts I did up similar to the way I did the exhausts on the Harvard 2. They're painted with a alclad stainless steel and then top coated with a coat of exhaust manifold. So it's got a metallic sheen but a bit of a brown hint to it. So those are all done. As I said, I'll glue those on after the flat coat. Or I should say just before, no, after the flat coat. I want them to keep the little bit of a, no, it's hard to say. I don't know if I want to keep the metallic shine or if I want them to be nice and dull. I'll see how things look when I'm getting close to being finished, but minor details have to figure out. But there we go, Stuka's coming right along, so stay tuned. Next step will be decals, and then a bit of weathering and washes and details. And then here is the decal process started. The decals on this were a little bit older, as it was a older Hasegawa kit, so they had a lot of issues softening up. It took a long time for them to pop off the paper backing, but once they did, I had very little issues putting them down. They reacted very well to the solver set, and in the end, they look great. this is the start of the whitewash process. So as I said, I just used white tempera paint, basically the same stuff that kids would play with. You can pick it up at, you know, like your Walmart or art supply stores or anything. It's super cheap, really easy to work with. So I just coated the plane with it. As you can see, I'm literally just, it looks horrible because I'm painting everything in white just over top of all the work I did. But then as you'll see with a wet rag, I can go over just as I was doing normal weathering. Not quite as hard, lightly wipe off the white, and you'll see how it leaves streaks. And then I use some micro brushes to clean up around the markings to ensure that those markings were left exposed the way they normally would have done when they painted the real aircraft in World War II. And here's the final process of the kit, just doing all the small little stuff, getting the bomb, the die flaps, a little bit of weathering on some of the minor parts done, getting it glued to the base, and then it's all finished. And here we have some final pictures of what the model looked like. So enjoy.
Thank you for watching, guys, and as always, if you are interested in any of the content you see, you can access my website at www.seans-aviation.com. You can see all the latest pictures of aircraft and museums and the build logs of all of my current models and past models on that site. And if you're interested in any of this content, please click the subscribe button here on YouTube to follow more. Thank you very much, and see you guys next time.